Hey guys, Brian from Brian Boas here. You know, I'm really lucky to have such a great collection of these outstanding locality boas. It's always hard for me to pick favorites, but today I wanted to show you some of my all-time favorite animals in the collection. If you like to look at beautiful snakes like this one, and you want to learn all about keeping and breeding boas in captivity, please be sure to subscribe to the Brian Boas YouTube channel so you don't miss out on any of my upcoming boa videos. I did a video not too long ago that was entitled My Favorite Boas, and immediately after I released that video I kept thinking, well, I should have included this one or this one. You know, of course it's very hard to pick favorites when you have such a great collection. I also got some pushback from people that were like, well, why didn't you include this boa or that boa? So I thought, in all fairness, we needed to make another video showing some more of my all-time favorites. And I wanted to start with this Argentine boa, Boa constrictor occidentalis. Several of you guys commented about where's the Argentine boa in my first video, since of course I've said several times that it's probably my favorite locality boa. So I wanted to show you this female. This is a 5-year-old female Boa constrictor occidentalis that was born here back in 2015. And she's a special snake, so her parents were actually among my first locality boas, and they were the first locality boas, or first boas, that I bred back in 2005. And unfortunately, both of the parents of this animal are no longer with us. They both passed away in the last few years. But I have her and her 2 sisters from the last litter produced from those original animals back in 2015. This one, she's actually a little bit smaller than her 2 sisters, but I think her color is a little darker. She's got the more of the blackish, really dark brown, blackish color, and she's got this really nice circle pattern down her back, and lots of nice shades of, you know, this creamy yellowish brown color, and also some white. So, you know, very beautiful looking animal. And so I have a group of Argentine boas. I've got the 3 females that are 5 years old. I have a male who's younger than the females, and he's unfortunately not going to be ready to breed for a few years, so it'll probably be a while before I have any Argentines available. But they're just such great animals, and you know, getting really popular now. Unfortunately, the supply is pretty limited, so the value has gone up quite a bit in the last few years. But, you know, as I said before, Argentines are among my favorite, if not my favorite, locality boa. And a look at this girl with her beautiful pattern and contrast and color kind of shows you why I like them so much. Out of all the different localities I have in my collection, none are represented by more animals than the Suriname true red tail boas like this one. And this is a 2016 holdback female. Her father was my male Prometheus, and her mother was a Florida Red Tails bloodline. And I think she really nicely combines the looks of both of the parents of this animal. You can see she's got this kind of wild looking look with lots of background markings, but her saddles have this nice peaked symmetrical look to them. And then she's got this super long red tail. I also like the shape of the head of this animal. She's got a really cool, you know, long snout and kind of a wide head, but beautiful head markings. Just overall a really beautiful looking animal. Another favorite holdback true red tail boa is this Bakalpa Peruvian female born here in 2015. And this animal is just drop dead gorgeous. She's got this beautiful deep golden yellow color, lots of speckling on her belly. She has this symmetrical long brick red tail, and then she's got these really cool markings that have kind of this jungly looking, somewhat aberrant shape to them. Just, you know, really top shelf boa. And so this animal is 5 years old now. She's probably going to be breeding her for the first time next year, and hopefully producing more beautiful Bakalpa Peruvians like this. Just a gorgeous looking animal, you know, definitely the best of the best when it comes to true red tail boas. Next, a younger animal. This is probably my favorite holdback from 2019. This is a Pearl Island Boa, Boa constrictor saboge. And this is actually the first year I bred these animals was in 2019, last year. Got a small litter of 5 animals, which turned out to be 4 males plus this 1 female. And so the 4 males all ate fine, no problem. This female, for whatever reason, she didn't want to eat at first, and she had to be assist fed for a few months. Finally, she started eating when she was about 3.5 months old, which was great relief. And she stood out from the others in the litter just because of this really light, bright coloration. And you can see her body is mostly patternless. Looking at her tail, she's got these beautiful orangish brown blotches. But just a really striking looking boa. The Pearl Island Boas definitely have a cool shape to them. The head shape in particular, with the kind of this long head with these flared nostrils and these really big prominent looking eyes. They're just very striking looking animals. And so this female really stood out, and I'm growing her up now as a future breeder here at Bryan Boas. Another island boa that's among my favorite individual boas is this qualchy male. And this guy was born in 2013, produced by my friend Michael Beach. And he's actually the father of the litter that I had recently that will be for sale, probably in a few weeks now. And I really like this guy. He's really grown on me. He's one of my smallest adult boas, maybe 4 feet at the most. He's got a kind of a cool, laid-back personality. I can take him out and, you know, he looks around, but he doesn't try to get away. Holds on, you know, not too tightly. But just a really cool boa overall. And I really like his appearance. He's got this beautiful gunmetal gray silvery color to him. Lots of background markings. This beautiful white belly with dark markings. Just a real striking animal overall. And so hopefully the babies that I produced will grow up to have kind of the same cool personality as this guy. This qualchy male boa. Another true red tail to share with you is this 8-year-old male Guyana true red tail that was produced by Mike Eckert. And so this guy unfortunately is in shed right now, so his colors are a little dull. You can see his cloudy looking eye there. But this guy, what I like about him is he doesn't really look anything like any of my Suriname boas. He looks distinctly different. He's much darker in general with these dark brownish, blackish saddles. He's got this darker maroonish red tail. Right now it looks almost, you know, dark brown or black just because he's in shed. And he's got a lot of background markings, lots of smudges and freckles, and real wild looking snake overall. You can also see how speckly looking his belly is. This guy is probably about 6.5 feet or so. He's one of my larger adult males. And he's produced 2 litters previously. They were both small litters. And I am planning on actually pairing him up again this coming breeding season. So with any luck, I should have some of these unique Guyana true red tail boas available sometime in 2021. He also has really cool looking head markings, these really bold eyelash markings, and a lot of smudges and markings on his head. Real cool looking boa overall. Another boa I'd have to include on my short list of favorites is this Peregrinara Peninsula boa from Venezuela. So I actually have an aneurystic Peregrinara boa that I've been showing a lot lately, including in my original favorites video. But this is a wild type male Peregrinara boa that has the more typical coloration with the tannish body color and the darker saddles. But you can see they're very striking looking animals with this really cool looking pattern. What's interesting about these animals is they're kind of midway between boa constrictor and boa imperator. Technically they're classified as the common boa, boa imperator, but they do have a very high contrast markings as well as coloration that's reminiscent of the true red tail boa. So just a fascinating boa from an evolutionary perspective. They're also a dwarf boa. This guy is now about 6 years old. And you can see he's maybe 4 feet long. You can see he's very squeezy also, not unlike the true red tail boas. He's one of my squeezier boas. He just really likes to hold on. But definitely a really cool looking animal. I'm planning on pairing this guy up in the next year ahead. I haven't produced any Peregrinara Boas before, but with any luck I hope to produce some in 2021. I wanted to end the video with a Morph Boa, and this is one of my most extreme examples of a Morph Boa. This is a 3-gene animal. This is a VPIT positive Sunglow jungle or junglo. And this animal has the VPIT positive albino, as well as the hypo and the jungle gene. And you can see it's quite a contrast to the more natural looking Morph Boas I've been showing you guys. But it just is one of the reasons I like boas so much, is all this diversity. This is actually an animal I frequently show visitors who aren't really into snakes, just to show the extremes that some snake patterns have been taken to by selective breeding and by morph breeding, so-called designer boas. I know they're not for everybody. I know a lot of locality people are really put off by these morphs, but I think it's great that we have so much diversity in boas and so many great animals to choose from. One thing I find really fascinating that this particular animal is really a great example of is the whole domestication process of boa constrictors, which is happening right before our eyes. And many boas now are just as domesticated as animals like hamsters and rats and even your cat. One of the things I find really interesting about this particular animal is just how different it is from its wild type ancestors. And this is just 3 gene mutations that make this animal so different. And it's not just the appearance of the animal. At this point in the domestication of boas, their behavior has been fundamentally altered as well. They're much more suited to surviving and reproducing in captivity. And I can only imagine that this process is going to accelerate in the next few decades ahead. So a lot of interesting things to watch for. So I hope this video was helpful to you and somewhat enjoyable to look at all these boas. As always, if you have any questions or comments, feel free to reach out to me. Thanks for watching and enjoy your boas.